Okay, to start evolution, I thought we might start with a little quiz, but you don't need to worry because it's just true or false. And there are only 11 questions, so nothing to stress about, but let's give it a go, hey? First one, that evolution produces organisms that are perfectly adapted to their environment. What do you reckon? True? Maybe? False? Maybe? True? False? Which is it? Decide, decide, decide! It's false. Evolution doesn't necessarily produce organisms that are perfectly adapted to their environment. Organisms don't have to be perfectly adapted to survive. They just need to be as well adapted as their competitors, or actually better adapted than their competitors. Consider our eyes, for example. We think our eyes are pretty cool, right? They're actually pretty stupid for a terrestrial environment. They developed and evolved in a watery environment. And here we are living on land. But evolution can't undo. So we're stuck with what we have. Not perfectly adapted to our environment at all. All right, let's go to the next one. Evolutionary theory leads to racism and genocide. What do you think? True, false, true, false? Of course, this one is also false. Darwin's ideas, hopefully you've heard of Darwin. If not, well, you're going to hear about him soon. But Darwin's ideas have been used as justification for some pretty nasty policies. Evolutionary theory, however, is a descriptive science. It explains what happens, not what's right or wrong. Next one. It doesn't matter if people don't understand evolution. Well, in your case, it kind of does matter as a student at school, but let's take this point as just a general thing. What do you reckon? True? False? True? False? What do you reckon? I'm going to go false on this one. Now, sure, at an individual level, okay, it probably doesn't matter if individuals don't understand evolution. However, any modern society which bases major decisions on superstition rather than reality, well, that's just surely heading for disaster. Let's move on. Survival of the fittest. You may have heard of this term. Again, if you haven't, well, you're going to over the next few weeks. Survival of the fittest justifies an everyone for themselves mentality. True, false, choose, choose, choose. It's false. It does not justify that mentality at all. The fittest can actually be the most loving and selfless. Doesn't have to be the most aggressive or violent. Also, what happens in nature doesn't justify people behaving in the same way. So, absolutely false on that one. Next one. Creationism provides a coherent alternative to evolution. What do you reckon? Good old creationism, eh? True, it does provide a coherent alternative to evolution. False? No, it doesn't. Is it true? Is it false? Yeah, let's throw up a big red false on that one, hey? Creationism does provide an alternative, or perhaps provides an alternative, but not a coherent one. Really, the only thing creationists agree on is that they don't like evolution. Even the book of Genesis gives two contradictory accounts of creation. So let's move on. According to evolution, humans evolved from apes. True, false, true, false. Choose false. Let's hope you chose false. Evolutionary theory never states that. It never has. Okay? Evolutionary theory has never stated that humans evolved from apes. What it does state is that we do share a common ancestor with the other great apes from about 4 million years ago. But one big argument of the people who don't like evolution is that, if we evolved from monkeys, why do we still have monkeys? Or if we evolved from apes, why are there still apes? Evolutionary theory never said that we evolved from apes. We share a common ancestor, however. Next one. Evolution is just a theory and not a scientific fact, because it's just a theory, right? It's not real. True, false, true, false. You better have said false on that one. Okay. We talk about the theory of evolution, but what you need to keep in mind is that scientific theories are actually accepted in the scientific community as being true. So basically, a scientific theory is a fact. It is not some random idea that some scientist person came up with on the spur of the moment and just said, this is what I reckon, that's my theory. No, that's not a scientific theory. Scientific theories have undergone extensive testing and are accepted to be the accurate explanation behind observations. So essentially, a scientific theory is a fact. Have a look at this. Here's how to differentiate between a scientific law, a scientific theory, and an hypothesis. Now you can pause the video anytime, you can read through the whole thing. Let's just go straight to the theory one, right? So, does it tell what happens, or does it tell how or why it happens? Okay, let's go with the how, why. Is the explanation backed by evidence? Yes. Is it based on a wide set of data under various circumstances? Yes. Has it been proved time and time again through different experiments and now is generally accepted within the scientific community? Yes. Is it about unicorns? No. We're talking real stuff here. Okay, that's your theory. That is your scientific theory. Okay, so follow that line through and you can see it's been backed up time and time again, multiple different experiments. It is accepted as fact. So the theory of evolution is actually fact. Next one, only atheists, people who don't believe in God, can believe in the theory of evolution. What do you reckon? True, false, maybe true, maybe false. It is, of course, drumroll please, false. Absolutely false. The Roman Catholic Church has recognized Darwinian evolution for many years. It actually openly rejects intelligent design and the young earth creationism, saying that it pretends to be science. Actually, in October 2014, Pope Francis told an audience from the Pontifical Academy of Sciences in Vatican City, so this is what the Pope said, that theories of evolution and the Big Bang are not inconsistent with biblical teaching. So he's basically saying there's no argument between the two. This is what the Pope actually said. That evolution in nature is not opposed to the notion of creation, because evolution presupposes the creation of beings that evolve. When we read about creation in Genesis, we run the risk of imagining God was a magician with a magic wand able to do everything, but that is not so. He created human beings and let them develop according to the internal laws that he gave to each one so that they would reach their fulfillment. So that's what the Pope said. And I figure if it's good enough for the Pope, then it should be good enough for the rest of us. Now, this, of course, is just looking at one religion. Okay. There are about 3,000 or so different gods that have come and gone over the years. So this is just looking from the point of view of one religion, but a fairly major one in the world. But like I say, if it's good enough for the Pope, it's good enough for science. No argument there. Moving on. Because there is a missing link, the theory of evolution actually can't be proven. Do you think true? Do you think false? Do you think true? Do you think false? Hopefully, you think false. The missing link argument is absolutely ridiculous, just completely, utterly ridiculous. There is a vast array of evidence, and we'll be looking at evidence of evolution, coming up shortly in a little while. Such a vast array. Now, this includes an absolutely huge fossil record. We have DNA and genetic evidence. We have comparative morphology, etc. We've got so many different fields of evidence that just overwhelmingly supports evolutionary theory. So this whole missing link idea, that's ridiculous. Everything is an adaptation produced by natural selection. True. False. True. False. And let's rest on false. You see, everything is an adaptation produced by natural selection. Do you really think male nipples are a valuable adaptation? Actually, many plant and animal characteristics have not arisen through natural selection. Some are just chance mutations that have no survival value whatsoever. So, yeah, false on that one. Natural selection leads to ever-increasing complexity. So things get more and more complex if we have this natural selection. True. False. True. False. Well, as this is the last question or the last point on the quiz, you may have noticed a bit of a trend here. The answers have all been false so far, haven't they? Let's throw down another one. False. Actually, natural selection can lead to greater simplicity, as evolution often takes away rather than adding. So natural selection doesn't necessarily lead to more complex features and adaptations. One example is cave fish losing their eyes. They're living in caves. It's very dark. Over many generations, they actually lose their eyes. Another example, brainless sea stars. Well, the ancestors of brainless sea stars and sea urchins actually had a brain. Okay, so the ancestors had a brain, and now we have, modern brainless sea stars and sea urchins. So that's got to be more simple, right? So it hasn't led to more complexity at all. Anyway, that was just, like I say, a quick quiz, just as an introduction to evolution. And let's go with that. Let's go with evolution.
Don't forget to hit the like button. Yeah. And subscribe to It's Up Here. And here's another video.